All right. Hey, Adam Ace. Good to see you again. So I think you were here last time when I was struggling with the terrain, and I couldn't get the terrain to take the color. I have engaged with the procedural worlds team, and I have found out why. What you can do is a temporary fix, but I don't like it, so I'm going to do something about it. But what you can do is you can go into terrains and you can go into settings here and you can say turn off the draw instanced, and then you need to change the material on the terrain, which is set here. Select that one and look at that, it works, and I can change the color of the terrains. The problem is if I now try to spawn with Gaia, I can't, because if I go to a spawner, click spawn, you get this error message, and apparently it's there for a reason. It needs to use draw instanced, right? So you have to turn it back on the terrain, which sounds okay, maybe I can do that, but this is what happens if you do turn it back on. Okay, it's not flickering now, but you get a horrible flicker, you get all this horrible coloring, and it's pretty awful. So I'm not going to do that. For now, I have imported a free terrain textures pack just as a placeholder. So I'm just going to drag these in here and update on the terrain. And then there's a dirt one, I think. Let's go ground cracked for dirt. And oops, that one. And replace those on the terrain. Ooh. Oh, I've got the wrong texture on. That's what the problem is. I still have the original texture. There we go. We have textures. They're not the best textures in the world, but they're better than that horrible setup that I had last time. They don't go too well with this particular terrain, but like I said, this is just while I'm working. Get rid of that horrible white stuff. I think I can probably shrink them down a lot and it'll look a lot better as well. So let's take these down to maybe 5. There we go, that looks better, doesn't it? Oops. So let's create a new biome, a new spawner rather. And let's move it up to after the rocks, I guess, and I won't make the same mistake that I made last time, which was to move them there, which is for a convenience, but not move them here, which is for actual ordering. Let's rename that. That's going to be shrubs. What we got in this pack. Oops. Where'd that all go? There we go. Shrubs. There they are. I think I want to go with these ones with one mesh. Let's just check what they are. So that is definitely a complete shrub. What is the difference between that and... Okay, so that's just leaves. That is useful. Is that 3D? Yeah, that's useful for billboards. Okay, same again. And then one mesh. So what's the difference between that one? Got lods and that one. Oh, okay, so they've separated out the leaves and the branches. So if I want more performance, I want that one. But as we were just saying, I don't care about performance, so I'm going to go with this one. And that'll allow me to shed the leaves if I want to. And not actually part of the plan, but it could become part of the plan. Shrubs. So we're going to create our first spawn rule. It's going to be a game object, and we're going to take shrub number 1. Got to expand that. Got to add instance. Got to expand that. Oh, too much clicking. Very lazy. Remember that it doesn't rename the first one. And we have to rename these, because if you recall, that created a bug you know, you got to respect the amount of work that goes in, and you got to pay people for the work that they do. And that's why I'm saying I'm not sure I agree it's greedy. I think the problem is that the asset store is too cheap, right? Rather than any particular publisher being greedy. That's going to increase this height curve, bring it in a bit more. I think there's a lot of value in some of these assets that put a lot of time and effort into giving you a really good head start, and people deserve to be paid for the work that they do. Unfortunately, there are far too many assets on the store that are unreasonably cheap, in my opinion. All right, let's spawn some bushes. Been mucking about for far too long. So I do have my area here, but I need to just limit this a bit. Let's take a look. What was we going to do? Oh yeah, put some noise in. Okay, let's change this around a fair bit. I don't want it to come where the trees are, so I want it totally different. Let's increase the scale a fair bit. Oh wow, everything's going super slow now. Going to be one of those weird sessions, I think. There we go, that looks alright if I invert it. Oh, it's a bit sparse actually. Let's give it a bit more persistence. Oh, I'm inverting, aren't I? Need to go the other way. That's better. Alright, so let's try spawning some of these. Let's increase the minimum fitness. I don't want these everywhere. Let's increase the location increment. Maybe no, 85 is probably too high. Yeah, and then let's increase the instances that spawn together and give them a bit of a range, maybe 2. Scale will go with fitness randomized. Not too much, they're bushes, so. Okay, right, finally, let's click spawn. Alright, I've spawned 3. That's still not enough. Why am I only spawning so few? Have I really too sparse? Let's have another look. Yeah, I'd expect to get some out of that, but maybe let's increase the space a bit. Let's try that. How many have we spawned? 25. That's okay, because there's another 3 bushes to put in. 25 might be a reasonable number. Where are they? There's one. Okay. Let's do this the lazy way. Go into terrains. Oh, I thought I'd renamed it. I did. Why is it coming out as object number 1? Oh, did I rename it in the wrong spot? Possibly. Let's have a look at these and then I'll fix that. It's these little bugs that keep coming out. They look alright, don't they? Merging in like that. It's these little bugs that keep coming out with Gaia. That they're not blocking use, but they just show a little bit of lack of testing before they release these things. I'm going to add new instances into this one. So that's going to be shrub round rather than shrub round 01. And I'm going to add this instance in here. And it hasn't renamed it. Okay, so I also therefore want to reduce the number of instances of the first one because I had 1 to 5. Let's make that 1 to 2. That one can be 1 to 2. Okay, fixed random. I wish I could duplicate these sections. It would be a lot easier. Think that's what I want to do. Let's hit spawn and check it out. Is there 1 or 2 or 3 there? There's 3. There's 3, all very close together. Okay, they look all right. Yep, talk goes live tomorrow afternoon. Oh, of course, it's recorded, isn't it? Here's me forgetting that we're in COVID. I used to do an awful lot of speaking at conferences and things. I kind of stopped before COVID came along. It wasn't COVID that stopped me doing it. It was other circumstances. And so I've forgotten that people don't actually go to events in order to do talks anymore. Okay, do the same thing with this one. Is that the last one of the rounds? It is. All right, spawn local. Let's see how many we get. I probably want to expand the area that they're spawning in, given that they're now all in one spawner, but let's see. It's only 31 being spawned. Yeah, make sure you ping us on the server, Yolan, when you go live. I'd like to check that out. And if there's anything else going on at Connect that you think I should be checking out, let us know that too. I think this is enough shrubs, isn't it? Density is quite good here. Yeah, it seems it doesn't matter where I go, I see some, which is probably about right. Can fine tune it later when I've got everything else in. I think trees next. We have trees, of course, but I want to put in the birch trees. Oh, actually, is there more shrubs there? No. All right, the birch trees. Let's have a look at these. Yeah, I definitely want to put these in. Different kind of tree, bit more variety. Let's create a new spawner for my birch. And let's change the order in here. Birch tree spawner. Add a rule. Bring in my first birch tree. Oh, let's set up as a texture. It's going to be birch 01. All right, a Rogan thing. An indie developer. Welcome. Hey, how you doing? Do you get better frame rate performance using Gaia? No. Gaia does not impact frame rate performance at all, with one exception. If you're using HDRP, they have a system called Flora, which is doing grass and detail spawning, and that is said to give you significant performance increases for the details. I don't do HDRP, and I have not used Flora, so I can't speak to how much difference it makes, but that is what it is designed for, and it comes as part of Gaia Pro. I use, to improve my frame rate when I'm looking at performance in these kinds of scenes, I really like GPU Instancer, which used to be the go-to for everybody. However, I keep meaning to check out, make sure I get this the right way around, Nature Renderer. Yolan, you've been playing with Nature Renderer recently. Does it give much of a performance boost? I know many people say it does. Have you got experience? Have you tested it out? All right, birch trees. Need to visualize this. Go back out again. Gonna need a height map, height mask. No worries, Rogan. I'm not an expert in many things, but I have opinions on most. Adam A's, time for you to sleep. Whose time is it to sleep? You obviously know somebody's time zone better than I do. Not my time yet. Okay, maybe a little bit higher than that. Oh, your time. So time for you to sleep. Okay. So if I read it out, it goes the right way around. Noise doing. Zihan? Noise doing? What does that mean? You want me to do some noise in here? Because that is indeed what I'm about to do. 12 p.m. So you're midday, right? Okay, yeah. It's, I don't know what time it is here. I guess it's about 9 p.m., about 9:15, something like that. I'm on the west coast over the US. So add some noise. All right, now I think that's too close to what we've got going on with the birch. Let's just simply invert. Let's be lazy for now. And oh, this is the birch. I meant the beech, but there we go. Let's see what we got. Beech trees. There's one. Small, isn't it? Okay. That must be the small tree. So a little bit interweaved, but also out in the open there on its own, which is what I was after as a starter. So let's get those other trees in. That noise mask actually wants to go up here. And we could take it out of there. All right. So now it's going to apply to every rule that I put into this system. Just check that. Yep. Oops. Might be a bit much actually. Yeah, it's probably a bit much. Let's go back in here. Not transforms. Noise settings. I do wish they'd fix Voronoi. If you click on Voronoi, it gives you this warning that it'll crash if you use it. It says a small fraction, but I find that it's actually quite a high fraction. Back to purling. Right. Let's reduce the amplitude a bit, I think. Wow, it's crawling. Oh, I meant increase because I'm going the other way around, aren't I? There we go. Too little. There we go. And let's create. Oh, I hate it when I've inverted the noise because I automatically go the wrong direction. Alright, that's looking better. It's still a bit too... Actually, you know what? If I put that back now and then put the persistence the right way around again, that's better. Like a bit more density to that, I think. There we go. That's better. Not sure about this ring. Maybe I can fine tune in a bit. I might just expand it out a bit. Okay, so add a new rule. Let's put in the third tree and hit spawn. Okay, looks all right from up here. It's a bit sparse, but that's okay. We can fix that easily enough. Kind of okay. It is a bit sparse. So let's do what we were saying with the noise. Okay, and let's just make it a little bit more clumpy, if that's a word. Okay, let's try that. I wish I knew how to get what I wanted with noise. I generally just muck about with it until I get what I want. I don't really know what I'm doing. It's a word now. Absolutely, Rogan thing. I can say anything I want and it becomes a word. I used to teach in the University of West Indies, it has a number of campuses. I taught in the Trinidad and Tobago campus. And one day, as you might tell from my accent, I'm English, and I've got my back to the students, and I'm writing on the board. And I said something like, well, I can't remember why I said it, but I said, and all that jiggery pokery. And there was a bit of a snigger, quite a loud snigger, actually. So I turned around and went, what? And somebody said, that word, what does it mean? And I said, what, jiggery pokery? And there's another big snigger again. So we had a conversation about it. It turns out they'd never heard it before. It sounded similar to a traditional word in Trinidad and blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, I set you all a challenge that you need to make the word jiggery pokery a part of the vocabulary here in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, about 5 years later, one of those students sent me a cutting from a newspaper that used the word jiggery pokery. Yes! That was an awesome result, in my opinion. So, yes, whatever the word is I said, I'm going to have to go back to the video, though, because I don't know what I said. But it is now a word. All right, where are we? I want more of these trees. Yeah, I agree, a Rogan thing. It is awesome. That student is awesome as well, actually. That student keeps in touch with me, and it in many ways makes me wish I was still lecturing. I actually hated some aspects of lecturing, but when a student excels in the way that particular student did, they were struggling when I started teaching them, and we just hit it off, and boy, that guy is almost as proud as him as I am of my own kids. Not quite, though. My own kids, obviously, are way more important. All right, let's see. I want to decrease this increment a bit. I think we need a bit more density to these. And for the smallest tree, I'm also going to decrease the fitness so that we get more of those appearing out towards the edges where it's starting to fade out. Those of you who were watching last time will have seen me struggling with ways of getting it to fade out. And then I was lying there in bed the other day and thought, oh, all I have to do is decrease the fitness and it will come out to the outside. What I didn't think is it will increase the ones in the middle as well, but we'll see what it looks like. All right, so these look all right. I'm just after coverage here. I'm not trying to create a forest yet. I'm just after coverage. And I'm getting the coverage here. I'm going to use Jenna for planting the actual forests when we get round to that. So that's going to be where I paint stuff in. This is just to fill in the gaps between where I actually design what I want. Okay, this is looking all right. What else we got? We've got pine trees. Well, I need some mountainous areas for that, so I'll delay on that one for the time being. And the branches and stuff, they're going to be for the forest areas. I think I have another grass to put in, and I don't feel that I've got enough grass in this scene right now. So let's just check that out. Grass. So for the Rogan thing, you're asking what am I going to use to do the actual planting. I really like Jenna. Jenna takes a lot of setting up to get just right. It uses the same mechanism to do the decisions as to where it's going to place as Gaia. So it's really handy in that sense that you're thinking in the same way for both tools. It does take a long time to set up, though. It is quite fiddly. You know, the trade-off of getting a good result is you do need to do the setup time. This particular biome that I'm building, I'm going to be doing videos with this rather than just doing a level design. And so I'm going to be creating lots of terrains. If I was just doing level design, I'd probably use the built-in tools for the planting. Although they're not as fast for doing things, I wouldn't be after speed. I'd be after quality of planting, quality of level design. I like it. It's especially good for doing things like planting rocks for cliffs and things like that. So it's not just a vegetation thing. Another thing, if you're looking for solutions, a lot of people really like Vegetation Studio Pro. I personally really like the results you can get with it, but I find it extremely difficult to work with. The UI is very clunky. And you asked earlier about performance improvements. Vegetation Studio Pro will give you performance improvements as well. It is an instancer. That said, it isn't the same thing as Jenna. It's closer to the planting in Gaia than it is Jenna. Jenna's like a paintbrush, whereas Vegetation Studio Pro is more like what I'm doing here. Yeah, it is confusing to get going. It took me ages. I did a few videos on it and I eventually moved away from it, to be honest. Richard, hi Richard. Roads, rivers, etc. as well. Yeah, Jenna is you're talking about. New features. I haven't used the latest version of Jenna yet. I wasn't impressed with what they were doing with the earlier versions, but they were brand new, so still developing. I did see in the release notes they'd done quite a lot of improvements in the latest release, so I'm looking forward to playing with that. Lots of potential in where they're going with it, that's for sure. All right, I've forgotten what I was doing. Oh, I was looking to see if I've got all my grasses in yet. So that's number 2. Number 4. Number 1 must be right at the top. Yeah, so I am indeed missing number 3, so let's throw that one in. What's it look? Oh, that's why I didn't put it in, because it's completely different. I remember now. Okay. So this is going to need a different approach. Where is it? There it is. Grass number 3. Oh, I'm going to expand that out. Add instance. This I hate about Gaia, having to do all this clicking just to put a grass in or some other object. Okay, and so this is going to be in lots of small clumps, so maybe 10 instances over a pretty small area. And I don't want it going too far below ground. And I forgot to increase the scale, didn't I, on those bushes? That's interesting, because I never noticed. Oh, it's because I had the random variation with fitness, that's why. So it was still giving me random variations. Alright, where's that going to be spawning? Okay, let's have a look at this one. Let's take the noise mask on that. Oh, that's doing it in... Huh, it's doing it in the concave convex pieces. Yes, I remember now. Okay, so I'm not going to do that with this. Okay, let's take that noise mask. It's got 2 noise masks on it. That's interesting. Obviously couldn't quite get what I was after last time. I don't remember doing that. Let's see what we've got. Oh, okay. So, oh, that's right. I was removing. Yes, I remember. I removed one. But let's take that as a base for now. Actually, I'm going to leave it as that, but I'm going to increase the location increment to maybe 40 so they don't come too close together. Let's try that. Richard, you say new roads look good, though you've not used it yet. Yeah, I noticed that they've focused on actually getting it into the terrain properly, rather than it being raised up above the terrain. That was the thing that bothered me most about the roads previously. They focused more on the texture merging and stuff, which is hopefully going to make a big improvement to it. Okay. I like those grasses. I didn't intend for them to be quite so close together, but they look pretty good. Okay, I kind of like those. I think I'm going to increase the number of those. Got to be careful not to end up with too much, but I kind of like where they're appearing. Let's drop it down to maybe 32. See what we get. Gives me warnings about doing this. So Adam Hayes, earlier you were saying that with with Gaia 2, it prevents you from going too dense. This is what Gaia Pro does. It warns you. It says, you know what, you probably don't want to do that. But I'm not after performance here, so I'm going to ignore it completely. But it doesn't stop you. It allows you to proceed. Let's increase the global spawn density to 1 and see what we get. Well, that looks quite nice, actually. I think that's pretty good. The terrain is a bit dark underneath, but I'm not using the right layers yet. What else we got? Gaia Pro 2021. World designer thing. I just sit on it and randomly making maps. Yeah, this was the first one that I did with World Designer. Actually, I think it was the second one. I worry about randomly generated stuff because it never really looks natural. But to do what you're describing, keep clicking a button until you think, oh, that looks all right. And that's one of the really nice things about Map Magic as well. You actually have I feel I've got much more control over the fully random generation in Map Magic. I'm actually liking this. Usually make them, then delete them, make more, delete them, just enjoy making them. Yeah, and this idea, once you've made a biome as well, so you click a single button and the whole thing happens, it is very satisfying. Definitely agree with that. Oh, Richard. Oh, so that's good. You're saying that you usually start with the world designer and then stamp on top of it. I actually wanted to do that earlier on because I want a mountain in here, so I've got somewhere to put pine trees. How do I get the stamper in? Now that I've got the world designer, how do I add the stamper in? Yeah, I do think it's looking good. Nave dev, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Nave dead and nave dev, not nave dead. Please don't be nave dead. Nave dev. It is looking pretty good. I mean, I'm just throwing numbers in at the moment and seeing what we come up with. I'm not tuning it in any way yet. So I'm kind of pleased with it. Think it's under Gaia Manager, then Advanced, maybe. Oh, I think you might be right. Yes. Go to Advanced, then under Gaia Tools, Create Biomes, Stamper. So I click that button there, do I? I'm always wary of this because Gaia is known to screw things up sometimes. So I'm just saving everything. Native dev, that makes sense. Of course it does. Yes. All right, native dev. Excellent. All right. So, Richard, what do you say? I click the stamper button? Yeah. Okay, here we go. It's your fault, Richard, if it crashes out. Oh, it didn't crash. No, I didn't mean that. Excellent. I can now put my mountain in and therefore put my... my mind is frozen at my silly jokes. I have no idea what I was going to say. I want to put my mountain in. That's the only important thing. That actually works pretty much straight out the box, doesn't it? I'm not trying to create a real terrain here. I'm just doing something to work with. Yeah, it's not quite what I want. So let's go to the mountains. Let's just bring it up where I can see it. And somewhere in here, there's a nice pointy mountain. That one. That's the one I want. Yeah, that's it. All right. So let's make that nice and tall and pointy. And let's shrink it down a bit. That's a bit too pointy. Yolan would like it that pointy, but it's not quite what I'm after. Alright, let's put that out here. And we're going to need a little bit of flats on it. Okay, and then we're going to want to, let me see, maybe have some foothills at the bottom. I think it's a little bit rugged, that, isn't it? Maybe lower it a little bit and smooth a little bit. Not quite that much, though. That's a bit better. Okay. Yeah, let's try that. And then I'm going to want some hills. Once it's done all its business, there we go. And then I'm going to want to... I do love that when it just does the whole thing for you. I didn't realize I had my biome set up to spawn automatically. normally I would have that turned off. But in this instance, that was quite pleasing. Fit that to the terrain again. Oh, this front edge looks kind of nice. Let's drop that down a little. Lift it up so I can see it. Yeah, that looks good. So then I'm going to want to rotate. Bring it back down again and bring it over here. Come on, up you come. Why are you not moving upwards? Maybe I'm on there. Ah! Where's my stamper gone? Can I get to it by doing that? No. Gaia tools, biome, stamper. There we go. And then I'm going to want to take that smooth mask out, but put a distance mask in. Yeah, that's not quite giving me what I want. If I bring it over this way. There we go, that's better. What's it doing to my lake over there? Not that that was designed, but I kind of like it. I think it's improving it. Maybe just drop it a little bit more. Okay, stamp. And we'll let it do its thing again. Now, we don't want those birch and beech trees going all the way up the mountain, do we? That's where we're going to put our pines. All right. I hope my microphone didn't pick me up drinking there. I hate it when people do that. If I drink again, I will mute my microphone, I promise. All right, so let's bring those trees down a little. I've put some hard edges in it, have I? I have around the back there. Yeah. Oh, you know, I do that all the time. And what you're saying is if I change the influence to global, then that will not happen. That is a trick I did not know. So let me just try and fix it by doing it the way I've done it all along. And I will remember that for future reference. I'm not too worried about it actually, because this is a throwaway terrain. But now it's been pointed out to me, I'm becoming obsessive about it. I don't know if I'm gonna. I'm just gonna stamp with that though. Gives me more flat land to play with, which isn't a bad thing. Okay, so once I've done this, I will bring down the height of the trees and then put the pine trees in. What does distance do? So that this distance mask here, let me bring it up and show you. So let me fit to terrain and I'll bring it up so you can see the whole mask. So this actually isn't a very good one to show you. Let me pick a different stamp because I'm not going to actually stamp this now. Just pick one that is really visible. Let's go to that one there actually. So say I want to use this mask here, but I only want it to affect around about this middle piece here. So what you can do is you can go into the, let me reset this to flat. So that's what it looks like without any global mask on it at all. And then if I put it into, like you see, it's beginning to tail off here. Let me do it here so this is on, and I'll turn it off. There's a very subtle change at the moment around the edges here. If you just watch here, I'm going to turn it on. See, it brought it down a bit, and that's because of this curve here. and you can be very extreme. So I'll do this, and you can see now that I'm really controlling how much of this mask is applied and where. So you can really limit the impact of the mask to a specific area. Like so. Okay, so it is pretty cool. It's really useful if I wanted to. I was saying before I wanted a big pointy mountain. So now I've done that, I can go and do things like this. And I now have essentially a completely different mask. And of course I could scale it up and do all the usual things with it from there. Distance mask is actually one of the most useful, I think. And I'm sure there are many more uses that people would put it to. Try changing the influence top item in the distance mask. This one. Change it to global. Oh, look at that. All right, so trees. I want to go into my beech trees first. Let's go in. Oh, I've locked up. There we go. Just temporarily. So I don't want those beech trees and those birch trees going up there. So my height mask is going up too high. So that's dead easy to fix. I'm already visualizing on this. Rogan, yeah, there is an advantage to live streams because we all learn together, right? In a video, if you watch any of my videos, all you're seeing is an edited version of me mucking about like this. And so I do the videos because that's how I learn. But when we've got people in here who, as we have today, who are using these tools, I'm learning, which means that we all learn if I turn them into a video or by sitting here and watching. All right, so I have gone the wrong way around with this. I should be doing it like so. You can do it with the height adjustment thingy, but this is a more efficient way of doing it. Just going to turn the noise mask off so I can see better what I'm doing. Actually, that's gone off screen, hasn't it? So there you go. That's what I'm doing. So this is just adjusting the height at which this works, and it's being very slow in performance. I'm actually streaming from the same machine that I'm working on, and that does cause problems. It's probably a bit low. Let's bring it up a bit. Maybe a bit higher still. There we go. We want the odd one up there because this is not that high a mountain. All right, let's try that out. Put the noise mask back in and hit spawn. So this is just the beech trees. So that's the green ones. So they should now move down the hill and not be quite so high up. Now, why have they spawned? What am I doing here? I reduced the level up here, but they're still spawning up there. Well, let's do that. Let's just kill it completely at the highest points. Come on. Wow, it really is. Doesn't normally perform this poorly. Alright. Let's try that. I think I've probably got it a little vicious now. It's kind of nothing here, and yeah, that's done it. So if I just bring that up a bit and allow it to come up the slopes a little bit. I also need to put a slope filter in here as well, because now we have some slopes in the scene. So let's just grab that again, bring it up to maybe there, and put a slope filter in. Let's turn the noise off. Let's visualize. So let's put in a slope mask and invert that. Alright, let's increase the density around the bottom here for some reason, because it's on multiply. And I'm subtracting, but I'm inverting, so that's not a good idea. There we go. Alright. It's going up to 18 degrees. That's probably not enough. Let's go to, say, 35. Alright, let's try that. Oh, I'll turn the noise back on. That looks like it might be a little low. But let's try it. Oh, that actually looks okay. For at least a bit that I can see at the moment. Got none down here. That's a side effect of what I've just done. I'll have to, that might be the slope that's doing that. Where's the grass gone? Why is there no grass there? Huh. And it's gone from here too. Okay, I've got a filter on my grass. Although this down here shouldn't have changed. Oh, that's going down to the lake. It did change. Okay. Come back to that in a moment. I think I can probably afford to leave those trees up there, you know. Maybe put a slope filter in, stop these ones. But I think it's alright having those two levels. Might even increase the density a little bit with the height. That might be interesting. Let's see. Okay, so first of all, let's get rid of the ones on the slope. Plus slope mask. And then we're going to subtract that. Okay. Okay, I think that might work. And then I suggested increasing a little bit on height. Not quite as... Okay, let's see what that looks like. Alright. Often I find that things that I like in Gaia are accidents. And if this works, this is a good example of it. I intended to take those out from there completely. I like it. I think it goes... We're going to have pine trees up there as well. Alright, let's try and figure out why we've lost our grass over here. That might be something to do with the way that the biome is spawning. So, I did say everything was spawning, but let's spawn the whole biome. Sometimes Gaia can get a bit confused with itself, and I find it does make sense to every now and again spawn the whole thing. Just to clear out the channels. I don't know, clear out the whatevers it is. Still no grass down here, so it's nothing to do with Gaia, it's something to do with my rules. Okay, let's see if we got any other weirdness. Yeah, we got lots of weirdness. There is no grass anywhere. That is weird. Oh, there's grass up here. Okay, that is kind of weird. What have I got going on there? And this biome still has its default name. Oh, okay. Don't want me to call it by its default name. That's all right then. Arkovsky. That is the publisher of these assets. All right, so let's have a look at my grasses. All right, why is this... Why is that going up there? I didn't touch this. Yeah, definitely wait for it to be on sale, Adam A's. Definitely. It nearly always hits the sales. Why is that height mask doing that? The collision mask is just avoiding the trees. I should, while I'm here, add the other trees in. Let's turn the collision mask off while I do it. Oh, it's already done the birch trees. That's birch 1, birch 2, birch 3. Okay. Why then is the height mask? How did that change over? I don't use world space. I use relative to sea level. I'm going to have to watch that when I do the edit on the video. I have no idea how that might have done that. I don't believe it's anything I did, but possibly. Come down a bit lower still. All right, let's try that. Let's see if we get our grass back. And I wonder if that has affected any of those other height rules. I have noticed a weird situation where sometimes when you're editing one mask in one spawner, it actually impacts a different mask in a different spawner. And I've nailed it down to when you do copy and paste. It seems to sometimes maintain a reference back to the original. I haven't nailed it down. I've not been able to do a bug report on it yet, because I haven't nailed down to exactly what is happening. Okay, Gaia is not responding. Unity is not responding. That looks okay though. Got my grasses back. Got them down here. Need to go a bit lower down on the terrain, but that's okay. That's just tweaking. Not coming over here. I like that one that's coming there. That's accidental again. I didn't design it that way, but okay, so we need to come down lower with the grasses. That looks okay. Whoops. And I do want grasses all the way to the top. We could probably increase the rocks coming up this mountain. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Alright, so I need the grasses to come lower, and I'm going to increase the rocks going up. Just looking at the amount of empty patches. Looks fine. Alright, so back to my height mask. Where is it? Keep going up. Up, 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 up. There it is. And let's go down here where we're missing it. I'm going to come down to probably a little bit past that. So visualize. Visualize, there we go. And let's turn off the noise mask on that one so I can see properly. Come on, wakey, wakey. There we go. All right, back to the height mask. Let's drop that down to maybe 10. 10, not 1. There we go. A little bit lower still. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm going to put it back up to 15. And I'm going to bring it in sooner on the curve. Because that will give me a bit more of a gradient here. So 15 is a little bit high. I want it to come in just past. So let's make that maybe 11. 9. bring this one up a little. That one up a little too. There we go. It's right at the edge. I wish it was going a little bit past, but I don't want to fiddle with it for too long, because it has to be fine-tuned for specific terrains anyway. So spending an age making it just perfect on your test terrain doesn't make a lot of sense. I think I want to increase the density on that grass again. It's a little bit too patchy. I'll put it back to what it was. I'll risk it. I don't think it was that caused the problem. I think I may have just actually had bad luck on that spawn. Let's take it back down to 20 again. Save. And before I respawn, let's go and do some rocks. So I have some fairly big clumps of rocks at the moment. I want to increase the number of rocks up the mountainside, and then have more dotted around. No trees at all on that side. That's interesting. Oh yeah, and I need to put my pines in. That's why I put them out in the first place. Alright, why are there no rocks up here? Why are there no rocks anywhere? Oh, there's some down here. Now they've gone and had their height mass mucked up as well. Let's have a look at that. Because they should be peering all the way up the mountainside. And I did not change those prior to the crash. Come on, wake up. Interesting. Looks like they just haven't spawned. Alright. Let's increase the feature size a bit. That's okay. About there. Right. Let's get ready to turn that off for a moment. And then what was I going to do? Oh, yes, increase it up the mountainside. So I actually need that on. Why is that? Oh, yeah, it's killing it because I've got the settings set such that they would do it. That's my muttering idiocy, shall we call it. Come on. Oh, let's turn that off. Give myself some speed. Come on. Wow, what's going on? Let's type it in. Maybe 40. Oh, no. Oh, that's 4. That's all right. Yep, that looks looking good. And then I want to not have it quite so intense. That looks good. Drop it down a bit more here. Looks good. And then I'm not multiplying. I'm adding. Put that back in. That might be a bit much up there, but let's spawn it and see. Brian says, not surprised with the stuff that Adam comes up with anymore. It just blows my mind and leaves it in a state. Yep. That's his vision has been evolving over many years, and I don't see any hint that it is about to slow down any. He's risked everything on what he's doing with Procedural World, from what I can tell, and I hope that he lands it. He works hard enough for it, and he's building a good team around him as well, so he's got good chances. That's looking good. I think that's what I wanted, and we are spawning them down here. It might have just been something weird with this, an earlier spawn. Okay, so I want to scatter a few small rocks around now. Yeah, so Brian, you're saying that he's only speeding up the madness. There's no slowing down. I can I can enjoy that kind of thing. I know last time he spoke to me, he caught me in I was in a more grumpy mood than usual, and he showed me his latest and greatest amazing idea that he was going to deliver, and I think I effectively said, you know, Adam, I think this might be a huge distraction from what you're actually trying to achieve. He didn't seem very impressed. I was perhaps a little bit more direct than I would normally be. I think he was wanting me to say, oh, that's super cool, because it was. But it was so far from anything else that you guys are doing that I felt, I don't know about that one. He's not talked to me about it again. I don't know whether that's because he's keeping it quiet. I don't see why he should have to. I have no influence over what you folks do. I think Adam just likes to bounce ideas around people and see what they say. Maybe that's the super secret thing that you're not telling us about. Oh, that'd be interesting. And then you'll be able to tell him, yeah, Wizards were talking about how he didn't like the idea, and now look what he's saying about it. Okay, I'm lost as to what I'm doing. Oh, yes, I'm scattering small objects around. That's what I'm doing. Oh, so here you go. Here's a question for you, Brian. So I have this, and this is a global set of spawn rules, right? What I'd like to do is invert that whole set of spawn rules. Is there a way I can do it? I'm going to see if I can find it before you get to type it, because I'm pretty certain there will be. Global spawner mask stack. No, don't worry. You don't have to clam it down. I do these to discuss, to learn. I'm gonna go with trying that one, and then doing that. Ha! I beat you, Brian. I can find my way around your UI faster than you can type the answer. That is good user feedback right there. This is one reason why I do stick with Gaia. You can usually figure out how to do it. Once you've learnt the basics, you can usually figure it out, which is not true for other solutions out there which have a less intuitive user interface. That said, I'll be honest with you, Brian, I was saying earlier on, I continually look for different solutions because there are so many things in Gaia that frustrate the hell out of me. I still haven't moved away. I haven't found anything yet. Everything I've tried, and I've tried them all, except one, which I won't name because I will try it at some point. But I haven't tried Houdini, which is a different one, so except two. I am thinking about trying Houdini, but of course with Houdini we're talking about a completely different class of tool, and a completely different price point as well. So I don't think it's a fair comparison. But I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know if it is a comparison. All right, so I want the small rocks. Which are the small rocks? I'll make them all small. Start with just this one. Make that random. Try them at 1 to 1. Actually, 0.8. Not to 11.2. That would be way too big. Oh, I see, Brian. You're saying you weren't even trying to type the answer. You just wanted me to discover it. Okay, well, you win, because I did discover it, and it was easy to discover, which has got to be a good thing. Boulder 01. But I am disappointed that you weren't even trying to help me. Huh. And you can't claim you have support hands, so you wanted to see if I could do it myself because you're not in support anymore. That excuse is gone. You're now community relations. You should be making me look good. Actually, thinking about it, your tool is making me look good, so you're doing that as well, aren't you? Damn it, I'm never going to get there. All right, let's see. Let's spawn that. Are you leaving the country? Where are you going to? Do you mean you're leaving permanently for a new home? Need to sort that out. I've got a tree spawning in my rocks, so I need a collision mask on my rocks. I don't see any of the small rocks though. None have spawned. Interesting. My fitness level is probably too low. Try that. Oh, just for a bit. Okay. All right. Going to Copenhagen and Sweden. I have not been to Sweden, but I have always wanted to go to Sweden. There aren't many countries I haven't visited. I used to have a career in the music industry, and that took me everywhere. And then I did a lot of public speaking for a number of years, which took me pretty much everywhere else. But I've never been to Sweden. Now I don't travel at all, which is awesome. All right, so my single rocks seem to be okay. I'm not sure how many I've got. 56 of them. That should be enough. So I need to add a collision mask in here. Stop these appearing where my trees are. I have 6 types of tree. Beech 1, Beech 2, Beech 3, Birch 1, Birch 2, Birch 3, and spawn. I should no longer have trees in rocks. You miss travel, do you, Yolan? So Brian, you went to Denmark and Germany, both awesome countries. I'm a big fan of Denmark, actually. Germany is a nice country too. I love Denmark though. But you miss your travel, do you, Aaron? Well, hopefully we'll be able to travel again at some point in the distant future. It's not looking good right now. Oh, I've got grass appearing in my excuse me, grass appearing in my rocks too. Sort that out. I don't see any trees in rocks. I believe we're getting close to being able to try this in a different world. The grass is it's not really dense enough. I've got too much open space. Do I have a slope mask on my grass? Oh no, it's that one that is going on the concave stuff. That's okay. But this I want to be filled in. So let's up the density on my grass a bit. And let's save. Yolan turned up. That's my cue to save. All right. Grass density. That's what I'm doing. Location increment 32. Let's actually do it this way. Let's do that. Just increase the number of instances that are going to spawn. I have a max less than my minimum. That's interesting. I don't know how I managed that. Oh, it's not expanded. That's why I can't find it. 50 is quite plenty enough. 60 to 100 is quite plenty enough too. So let's spawn that. All right, this is looking okay. I think we need some post-processing. I think we need to start polishing this. So vote in chat. Do I start putting some post-processing in and making this look a little bit nicer? Or do I build a new random terrain using Gaia and test the this setup on a completely different kind of terrain? I'm going to take the first vote that comes in, by the way. Brian, you were first. I knew you would say do Gaia. So you were the first, and I said I'd do the first. All right, new scene. Okay, test 1. So what I've done here is I've created a biome. It's reasonably complete. I did it on a very quick test scenario, scene. And now I want to see what it looks like when I apply it to a completely new scene. So procedural worlds, Gaia, Gaia Manager. Let's stay with small. Let's keep speed going since I'm streaming. Custom biome. I never saved the biome, did I? I'll do that in a minute. I'll leave it as is for now. Manual with stamp. Let's go with world designer because I don't know how to use it. So I may as well learn. I think I've used it twice. I don't want any of that. All right. So what kind of a world shall we have? Let's go with mountains around the outside because I didn't have that last time. Okay, definitely generator because I don't have any of the others. Let's make it a bit more mountainous. Base height can stay there. Okay, loads of chat going on there. I'll let you folks talk for the moment and I'm going to get this done. All right, let's just keep being random here because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, looks good. So I want some planes in here. That's not changing anything. Oh, I have to click the randomize stamps button, don't I? So let's have some planes. Definitely going to want some valleys. Leave the messes as they are. Leave the hills. Let's drop the mountains a bit because we've got mountains around the outside. Don't want any islands, and we do want some rivers. All right. Is that how I do it? Click randomize stamps and see what happens? Yeah, that kind of works. I don't like it, but I got a result. Probably made the height a bit high. It's a bit extreme up there. So that was me that did that. Let's drop that. I think 7 is what it was on before I mucked about with it. So let me see what difference that makes. Randomize stamps. So this is a completely different terrain. I'm going to just leave it like that because it is so different. You know what? I never put the pine trees in, did I? This terrain's going to need the pine trees. All right, so I need to save this scene. Oh, I didn't generate the terrain. Let's do that first. World designer. Generate the world. Yep. Okay, so I don't really need to save it. I do need to save it, but I don't need to close it. I'll bring the other one in. So I didn't save the biome, which means I can't reuse it in this new one, but I can add it in, so that's okay. So I need to go into my biome, which is in here. Oh, I never saved it, so it didn't rename. So this is the Artkovsky biome. And we're gonna, yes, rename. And we're gonna go and click, not clear spawns, advanced, save and load, save biome preset. We're here, good, Artkovsky, good. I believe that's all I need to do. And now I need to go find my biome, which is now here. And all my spawners are in, good. And hit add to scene. That should wire everything up. Then go into my biome, hit spawn. There we go, look at that, magic is happening. Okay, what's going on there? Ooh. Oh, it's just lighting on the terrain. I haven't done anything with the textures in this terrain, so those weird lines are just bad setup of the texturing. That's not bad considering I've got no tuning of this at all. Just dropped it straight in. I'm going to just grab my oh, I don't have Asset Manager on here. Okay, I'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. Yeah, I know, Yolan. Why? How could I possibly have a new project without a Asset Manager in it? I have no excuse other than can't think of an excuse. What am I doing here? Pressing the wrong buttons. I wanted to go to add from disk. And go, I'm not in experiments anymore, go up here. What I'm doing here is putting in a tool that I've built to explore terrains automatically. It's a very simple little thing, but it's kind of handy. Did that install? Surely not that quickly. Oh no, there we go. It's just being slow. So this is just basically a semi-random, semi-automatic, semi-AI driven camera that'll just go in the format that I've got it here. It'll just randomly wander around the scene, semi-randomly wander around the scene, but you can tweak it and get it to go to specific areas and things. So all I do is go to Tools, Wizard Code, AI, Add Automated Camera. That adds a few things into my scene. Then I need to go and check the spawn area that it's created, which right now is not in a good spot. So I'll move that over there. As you can see, I need to do some improvements to this. Like have it actually center on the terrain would be a good idea. And then make sure, yep, good. And then just, I'll give it a starting plate. Let's start here. And let's go maximize on play. Oops, not pause, play. And let's see what we get. Remember, there's no post-processing, there's no decent texturing yet. There's just and this world is totally different to the one that I actually created this biome in, which was very flat. And so this is a pretty good test of the biome to see whether it's effective. You're always going to need to tweak it for every new world, but if I can get it to being reasonably good for coverage, which is what I'm aiming at for here, then it should be pretty easy to do that tweaking and do it in any environment. And then you bring in Jenna and you start planting specific areas. All right, so here's my camera. This is entirely random that it's doing now within a confined area, but gives us a little bit of an opportunity to see what we created. So I need to sort these mountains out. They're looking pretty awful without a rock texture on them, but we can fix that. I haven't got Jenna installed, but I can see a river coming right down there. We need a river down there, right? And maybe a little lake in this bit here. Anyway, I'm not building a terrain. I just wanted to see what the biome looked like. I'm interested that we got trees all the way up here, though, because I thought I had a height filter to prevent that. I wonder if I lost that in my crash. I feel like I've got to about probably 50% done now. I got about 15% on the last session. So I feel like I'm about 50% done now. So good progress. I'm quite happy with the way it's come out in this totally different world. I'm not happy with the grass. I have to fix that. Definitely need to fix the textures. Need the pine trees in. Need to sort out these trees on the mountain. They don't look good. I think I need these to follow the terrain, don't I? You see, it's floating above the terrain here. I obviously haven't got the rotate to terrain turned on these grasses. To fix that, need to sort out these textures, get decent textures that actually match the vegetation. But overall, I'm happy. So I think with that, I am going to stop watching this thing ticking by because it's winding me up. I'm getting tired. And so I'm going to finish up here. Thank you for keeping me company. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. See you again soon. Bye-bye.